All right, folks, so now we're downtown Manhattan. Look at the skyline. It's a clear day. It's been foggy all week, right? They have a lot of tour guides lately, I see. Oh, wow, you can get your hat for $5. Any color you want, New York style. Oh, you could also get you we have a lot of Trump supporters these days. We have Make America Great Again hats. What do you know? $5, folks. Okay, so now we're down Lower Manhattan, and I will be covering the Luigi case next. Well, there's some other cases I'll be covering, but that's going to be a really big one. The younger crowd, they love this guy, and it's really a interesting situation. So I will be covering that case too. But this right here, this is where the World Trade Center fell. Well, it's still foggy, but right here, that's the new building called the Oculus. It replaced basically the World Trade Centers. So that day when the airplane hit the buildings, this is where it all went down. Literally, people. This place was chaos. A friend of mine worked in the building. That was chaotic. Getting her out of the building. And look at here, folks. I bet you won't drive through there. You won't escape out of this federal building. That's for sure, folks. All right, so we're almost down here to the courthouse. There's no protesters from what I can see. But by the end of the day, they'll be out here. They love to curse out the police at night. The other day, there's been a lot of fights in the line. Some guy was swinging a 2x4. They don't mess with me, though. I'm not going for it. Some guy down here where Trump's trial was, 100 Center Place, 2 mornings ago. They don't even put it in the news, but he stabbed 2 court officers. So, standing in line is not an easy feat. It takes a lot to come down here and cover this case. Sometimes you have to come through at night. I wouldn't advise it if you have a weary heart. Don't do it, folks. These people would try you. They would definitely try you. So, this building here in front of us, this is the Supreme Court. The courthouse there is where Donald Trump, I went there. That's where I saw Donald Trump right next to me. He sat in front of me. I was shocked because the media says he's a short, fairly tall guy, but chubby or whatever. When I saw him, he was a really tall guy, and he looked a lot different. I think on TV you see a lot of his makeup, but in person he was a very interesting guy. He slept most of the day whenever I would sit behind him in court, and he would have a whole showcase of celebrities coming in with him, so I saw a lot of the people. Hey man, how are you?
Good guy, man. They all cheat on all them girls I've been with. They all cheating on me. And when I leave them,
What did you say? I'm live. I don't want to get. You okay talking?
yeah, I'm okay, Tony.
You said the girls are cheating on you?
Yeah, all my girls, I never had them like 10 at a time, 20 at a time.
Woo.
I pray. Listen, my mom. Let me say, my mom G'd me up. She said I only have 2 sisters. My mom and dad is still married, homie.
Yeah.
Listen to this. It's 10 of us, and them 10 beaters, man, they switch up any caliber, man.
Why would you need 10 women though? I could barely deal with
No, not
one.
10 women. No, you're not understanding my logic.
Okay.
If I gotta protect the president, I'm gonna protect him until I drop dead, because I'll be risen up in heaven and come back and save the world, and all y'all will disappear.
Like the Messiah? You think something like the Messiah?
The Messiah is watching over all of us.
Yeah.
Look what happened to 9/11. Look what happened to 9/11. I was upstate and studying to be a doctor. I became a doctor at a young age. I still got it in me. I do surgery. I can work on humans and animals. You feel me?
Oh, okay.
All these knucklehead gangsters I've been around. Come on, when we first came out in the early 80s, late 80s, early 90s, niggas was like, you want sweet like chocolate, came out with chocolate, then greens, then purple. Those were the first top strains they came out with. Now they have platinum. I come out with my
All
own
right.
shit.
Well, I'm heading to court, but thank you for your
Oh,
time.
yeah, support.
Your dogs
Listen,
don't bite, do they?
no, they don't bite, but if somebody biting, trust me, they're gonna attack.
Yeah.
I don't have to give them.
What's your name, brother?
My name is Dr. Fabian Fitzroy Foster. That strives for beer. And I brew that beer. Yo, bring on some free Fosters out with free food, man.
All right.
Yo, they spending my retirement money. That's money that belong to me, OG. And they leave me with nothing to spend.
All right.
Look, every guy who sold, listen, put this line. Every guy who sold me that two-duplex condo, they all fucking in my shit. And I never did nothing.
There's a lot of ladies watching, so we don't want to curse, but go ahead.
Sorry, but I'm keeping it real gully. I'm not cursing at them. I'm cursing at them.
I know, but we're trying to change it a little bit.
I apologize. I know we started on.
We're trying to change the image of people, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Not so aggressive.
No, I'm not aggressive.
No, I'm not saying you are, but just don't curse.
They are
Just
aggressive on me because I'm trying to make things back up, and they all sending me love. Like they don't even want me to see my kids.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. But listen, brother, I'll see you around. Thank you for your time. All right. All right. So he got his words out for today. All right. So we're here at the courthouse. Let me show you. This is where Sean Diddy Combs' trial is in this tall building here. We're on the 26th floor every day. There's an overflow on the 24th floor. A lot of people come here to get married, so you'll see a lot of women in their wedding dresses. This is where they usually have the protest at the end of the day. Believe me, they'll be out here probably around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Then at nighttime, that's when you see all the individuals come to have their face hidden, because I guess they may have to do some things that the average person won't do, folks. All right, so this is the Supreme Court here. You often see people taking pictures, getting married, all sorts of things going on. All right, so right around this corner is usually where you'll see the line for court. Obviously now there's no line. In fact, court was canceled today. But I'm going back to do some footage with some other big-time reporters. Today we're going to be doing some filming. Okay, so here we go. There's a lady there in her wedding dress. That's what I was talking about. They like to take their wedding pictures here. People are getting married, folks. They're getting married. And at nighttime, you come through here, you see the homeless people all on the bench. Like each of these benches belong to a particular person. And probably if they catch you on that bench at night, you might have a little smoke, people. You might have a little smoke. All right, so we have 83 people in the house. If you can hit the like button. We're here at the courthouse, and people are still here, even though court is canceled until further notice. I believe that a juror is sick. That's what they're saying. The juror is sick. But again, yesterday at the end of court, the judge said, I have to clear the courtroom. And he did the same thing on Friday. So obviously in the background, there's some things that are going on that are not so great. How will this affect Mr. Combs? That's a very good question. I do have some inside information about this case. There's a lot of shocking stuff going on. I try to be as clear with you guys as I can be. Oh, look at Jacqueline. Jacqueline is out here, people. You better turn your volume up. Oh, she's out here. I'm going to share with you guys some of this information I have. I'll try to be... I don't want any problems with the judge, but there's some things that need to be told. What's up?
That interview you did for me, it got bananaed intentionally on my old account because people have been going after it, so I don't have the content.
Yeah.
So I got to interview you again because I didn't get you. I want to be able to post that one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you don't have to say what you said about me, but I
No,
know
I'll
you want
say
to.
it.
But
I'll say it.
I need to get you again.
All right, I'll do that for you.
Thank you. You
I'll
have a
do that
beautiful
for
day.
you.
Be
You do the
safe.
same. Tell everybody what's your channel.
Oh, my channel is Kealoha Halika. It's Kealohalika. That's on YouTube and TikTok.
Okay.
It's Kealoha Halika.
All right.
Yes,
How
thank
has your experience been with the guy in the suit and the Yankee hat?
Well,
guy in the
I
suit,
think he's
didn't
been
he?
very friendly.
Okay.
I've seen you
All right.
going in and out. I was waiting to make the connection with you because I just know so many content creators were recording in the moment, whether it's
Yeah.
YouTube, TikTok. So I try not to disrupt your recording because I know it's a big deal. So I've been trying to catch you, and I've been out here 6 weeks now, and I didn't get to catch you until week 5.
Yeah,
I think it was like
yeah.
4, actually the end of 4.
Yeah.
I caught you at the end of 4, and I was like, oh, he's who he is, because I always like, I know we have connections, and now we're learning. I'm learning from all of you guys, but it's nice to know, friendly faces and people who want to grow and learn together.
Well,
So
great.
I appreciate
So I'll do the
it.
video
I think
for
you're
you.
amazing.
I'm
think you're
amazing?
awesome.
All
Heck
right, thank you.
I see so many people like trying to find who you are, and I'm like, oh, he's over there.
Yeah.
Right? Just no stalking.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We call it Watching the World, and we call the people the Watchers. Oh,
I know,
sorry.
right?
A lot of watchers. Hey, how are you? Everybody, this is right here. This man is David New York, everybody. Go follow his channel. Where you at? Tell him where you at, Dave.
YouTube mainly, David New York on YouTube, and Watching the World
Yeah, that's me.
on YouTube. But do you have a TikTok?
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah,
TikTok.
same thing.
Same thing. So guys, you can find him out there. You got to give TikTok some love too. There's a lot of people, and guys, he has an excellent. First off, he's in the courtroom, unlike myself every day. But other than that, he has a more professional delivery.
Oh,
than most
come on,
people.
man. No, don't say that.
Yeah,
bro.
even myself. So.
Don't say that. You cover all the outside ins and outs. So we work together as a team.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you,
get
man.
the tea, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you,
Guys,
brother. Watching the World. Thank you. All right. Okay, guys. So that's some of the people. That's Udo on the go. He's been on the channel several times. There's Jackie. Jackie's out here running the street. And this is someone. All right. So here we go. You can see court's canceled. All the big media groups are gone. And we have people holding line for, there's no court tomorrow. I guess they're holding line for Friday, people. Jeez. All right. Okay. All right. What's happening? Good to see you. Can you just mention your channel so my people can check you out?
Miss_knockout on TikTok. That's MISS_KNOCKOUT on TikTok. You can find me anywhere. But
She's literally out here all day long streaming. It's amazing. She's
thank you
one
so
of a
much.
kind. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A little bit, then we're gonna go home, get some other
Lunch is on me today. All right.
All right.
So I'll be here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to file for my press pass. I'm going to ask you where do I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just hit me out.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'll be here most of the day.
All you gotta do is have your 6 videos.
Yep.
The application is basically explanatory. Your name, address, boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
And then you gotta get 6 videos together.
Yeah.
Mainly in front of the courthouse.
Okay. I have plenty of that. So.
It's
All
real
right.
easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy.
Yeah, did I text you yet?
No, but I'll give you my number and we'll connect. Definitely. All right, guys. This is the courthouse. Ladies and gentlemen, what are these guys? Court doesn't start back. Well, maybe they're thinking court could be called back into session because I think they said until further notice. So 500 Pearl Street. This is Trent Out Loud out of Canada. Yes, indeed.
Follow me
Right.
on YouTube, podcast, Trent Out Loud. The only Canadian YouTuber who's covering the Diddy trial daily, 7 a.m., 12, and 4. Check me out.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, guys. That's Trent Out Loud. All right. So this is it for the courthouse for today. I don't think they're going to call court back.
It's in my profile. It's like one stop.
I don't think they're going to call it back today, actually.
So I can get in.
So I'm going to
Right? So say,
I'm going to give you guys a nice tour of New York City. For those of you that want to see it, we're going to go to Times Square. I'm going to take you guys to the Oculus, which is the new building that replaced the World Trade Center. It's mind-blowing. I love it there. It's going to be mind-blowing. But I'll be there. That's right up the street. But after that, but first I'm going to stop and answer some questions, and I'm going to talk about the case. I'll be here for a minute. So let me set up before we go on our grand tour.
it's gonna be a great summer, y'all. It should have
I never had a chance to talk about the case this week, so let's do it now. And then we'll. All right, here's the girl from Law and Crime, folks. She is so amazing. She's so amazing. Yes, indeed. I've been on Law and Crime several times already. I'll be back on, folks. Law and Crime, check me out. I'll be on there for the Beyond Diddy trial. So, like I said, I'm going to be covering the case of Luigi, and also there's a case I'm going to cover in Idaho. I'm only going to go out there for a week. His name is Brian Koberger, and that case troubles me dearly, but he's on trial for unaliving 4 college kids. And quite frankly, I do not want to cover it because it's so morbid. But I know people want to hear about it. All right, so we see people still coming out of court. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys. Happy years. Happy years. Happy years. All right, so they got married today. So give me a minute to set up here, and we're going to talk about a few things, and then we'll go on tour here. I know a lot of people come in and out all day, so whatever floats your boat, folks. But we won't have any court today, that's for sure. Whenever you see the media leave like that, there will not be any court. So let's get to the comments while I set up. Oh my goodness, there's so many comments, people. We have 143 people like the comments, folks. I'm out here taking you guys on a driving tour. I'm giving you guys, I was out here at 10:30 the other night, but that was mostly Trump supporters on the stream, covering the protests. And people were getting stabbed out here. And guess what? Watching the World was out here. Yep. Watching the World was out here in these streets at night. There you go. You don't want to be on the paddy wagon here. Believe me. But that's what happens sometimes when you come here to 500 Pearl Street. So last weekend I bought a real deal tripod, and it takes a while to set it up, so sorry guys. The other one kept getting blown around by the wind. All right, we finally set up here. These guys are out here in line already for Friday. That's mind-boggling to me. Like, that's what you call commitment or craziness. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide what you want to do about that one. Okay, guys, here we go. What do you guys think? Is that the view you want? And I have to set up my microphone. When I set up my mic, maybe I'll lose a connection temporarily, but we'll see. Let's see. And while I set up, I'm going to let you guys be a little nosy and see what's really happening out here in these New York streets. Hopefully nobody tries to run away with my phone, but you guys yell if you see somebody grab it, and I'll definitely go get it. right, all right. I need about 2 minutes and we can rock and roll. We can rock and roll, guys. You guys hear Jackie back there arguing with somebody? Oh boy, Jackie's down there cursing somebody out. So you know I have to be nosy. So before we get started, all right, sorry guys. You guys have the nosiest guy in town.
That's what she did. You wasn't there, so you don't know. ASB between me, see yourself off. Hands off. 111. Cash App. You want another interview? Pay me. Pay Uda. How about that? Since you so tough, spend your change on him since you is subscriber. Support the black community. Since
Okay,
you so
guys.
concerned
Okay.
about the black community, man.
Here we go.
Tell your son
Eli,
so.
did you wanna
Teach
come
him the
up?
right way, because I'm not his mother. So he shouldn't be stepping to another lady. He got the smoke for a woman. He probably disrespects you. Behind closed doors. Give him a spanking. Wash his mouth out with soap.
Okay, oh, there's a sketch artist over there. Maybe we can get a few words. I don't know, folks. The sketch artist is here. Well, maybe she's for another case, so. All right. You saw it here first. Jackie out here cursing somebody out, folks. Every day out here. Okay, so I don't know. All right, guys, here we go. I'll be ready to go in 1 minute. All right, she says free puff, guys, free puff. That's what she's saying back there. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah, she just somebody rattled her cage, you know. Yeah, so she's not having it. It's never a dull moment, never a dull moment. All right, so here we go. Okay, guys, here we go. We're about ready to rock and roll. Can you guys hear me better? All right. I don't know how I turned the camera around, man. Everything's going crazy. There's a guy here. I don't know if I should do this, but he looked like he must be in the police car there. It doesn't seem like a place you want to be. Can you guys hear me in the microphone? Talk to me. Folks, I even have a light now. Isn't that something? So we went out and bought all these toys here. All right, let's see. Okay, so you can hear me in the microphone. So we started off this thing, and I had no clue I would cover this case the way I've been covering it. It's all morphed into something. We're still trying to get there, folks, but hold on. I'm going to tell you guys some stuff today. Probably I'll be in a little trouble, but I don't really care. I'm a law-abiding citizen, but people need to know the truth, so I'm going to tell it. I've been in this courthouse every day. I was here during the jury selection. I have to get comfortable because I'm going to be here a while. All right? So I've been here since the very beginning of this trial. I didn't come as a Diddy fan, so let's not get it twisted, people. And people are walking by, they're very curious as to what I'm saying. So if I get a little distracted, this is typically where I do my show for law and crime, right here. They always have me come and frame myself. This is how I was able to get myself together, because I had a real producer come on and tell me, you know, stand back, don't hold your head down. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not the professional. I'm getting there, though. I'm getting there. But they helped me set up before I went on the big screen, so now I can pretty much go. When I went on Tasha K, you know, that was professional. That was in my in-home studio. But out here, I had to figure this stuff out. So I've been to Best Buy. I've been online. I even ordered a professional microphone, people, that's going to have Watching the World on it. So I'm committed to this now. You know, I'm going to stick with this. And like I said, I'm going to cover a lot of cases coming through. But anyway, let's talk about Sean Diddy Combs. And I want to preface this. I am not a fan necessarily of here to try to save Diddy or anything like that. I'm here to bring you guys the truth because, you know why? I heard so much stuff in the media. There were freak-offs, white parties, right? You go to the white party, you go in the back room, then all of a sudden you hear this whole Meek Mill video and there's a lot of screaming and so forth going on. So I figured I have the time, I have the financial situation in life where I can go do what I want to do. So I said, let me cover this case. I covered Donald Trump's case, and that's where I developed my passion for covering court cases. The reason why I like to cover court cases is because a lot of the media outlets, they like to cover these salacious stories, but then you can't prove it. So at least with the court case, we have the transcripts. And so every day I get the transcripts and I can go back and, you know, see if I had an issue or maybe I heard something incorrectly. I can now go to the transcripts and see what's happening. At any rate, I felt like the government was winning this case. I honestly did. Let me tell you why. And a lot of people, they disagree with me. That's fine. But I've been here every day, probably in the courtroom more than anybody else other than the jury, okay? Now, let me tell you this. The government, they have everything. And let me tell you, they start off with the witnesses and the victims. So now you get to see Cassie come in and take the stand, and she's telling you her experience in being in a freak-off. And I never heard about a freak-off before. I never heard about Baby Oil dancing in a pool and doing the twist and the bohawk twist and all this stuff. I never heard about anything like that. So to hear her come in and talk about how they would acquire these men that would come in. This man says, free Diddy, folks. He just rolled by on this little scooter. Everybody's saying free Diddy. That tells you something. I wasn't hearing that from the beginning of this case. But let's talk about it. Cassie comes in. She's on the stand 3 or 4 days. She's she's, number one, she's pregnant. At that time she was. I don't know why somebody's blowing the horn like repeatedly like this. This is absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, just so you know, in court, the way she would come in is in the back of the courtroom, and I'm sitting in about 5 rows. Diddy is probably the distance of the 6th row right in front of me. Every morning he comes in, he recognizes me because I'm sitting in the same chair every day typically, at least for the bigger part of the trial. Now it's not so. I made my point, right? So anyway, he comes in, he'll say hello to everybody that he recognizes just to have been here, just sitting in the courtroom. So there's no harm in that. Before any of you guys get into your, whole thing about, oh, you did it, oh yeah. No, there's no need for that. This is not a Diddy party, okay? We're just here breaking down the facts. So Diddy comes in. But anyway, getting back to Cassie. Cassie comes in, and the first day she has on a black, like a suit similar to mine, folks, with a suit jacket. But the dress part of it, right? She has one leg all the way down to the floor, and the other part is an actual dress. So I'm like, man, I've never seen that. I haven't seen any woman wear that like in public. But I'm just an average guy out here trying to do what I do. So maybe I don't go to the fashion shows. I just don't get out enough, but I've never seen that. So she comes in, she's pregnant. She had the baby while we were in the third week of the trial probably. So that tells you she had to be around 8 months pregnant. Here's some inside information for you because you are a watcher and this is Watching the World. I'm going to cover the whole case here today because they kicked us out of court as counsel. So you guys who want to hear me today, you're going to hear it. If I say something wrong, it is what it is, folks. Anyway, there was a big debate because if she's walking into the courtroom, every day they bring out the jurors. So if the jurors are in their chamber, then she's going to walk past them pregnant. And they didn't want that. They didn't want the jurors to see her pregnant walking into the building. So what they would do, they'd bring Cassie in first, and then they'd bring out the jury. And it's so interesting. It probably happens in many cases, but most of the time we're sitting waiting for the jurors to come in. And so they bring in their witness or the victim. They pretty much the same thing in this case. And then they have the jury come out, and then the judge will start letting the attorneys preside over the case. Now, in this case, now listen, I'm telling you guys, I'm giving you facts like you were in this courtroom. And that if you stick around to the end, you're going to start to see why I think that this is not a kangaroo court, but maybe an elephant court. We're going to call it an elephant. There's an elephant in the room, all right? There's an elephant in the room. And I'm going to explain to you why, what the issue I have with this case. I've been there every day, okay? Now, in this particular case, you have Sean Puffy Combs, the guy who invented the Diddy Bop, right? For most people in my age group, now I'm the average age. I'm the demographic of probably some of the jurors that are here on this case, okay? Now keep that in mind. So that means that when I was growing up and I was graduating from school and all those years, then that means that Diddy's music with Biggie was very influential. I graduated in '95. That's like the year of the year. And Biggie was dropping hits, Nas, Jay-Z, Tupac, remember? But Diddy was the man of the hour. So a lot of people in this courtroom, whether you're white, black, Jew, or Gentile, it doesn't matter. You probably know about Diddy, the guy that's sitting on trial. Okay, now, because Diddy has all of these resources, he has about, I counted 11 attorneys yesterday. Somebody said 9 for the record. But I counted 9 people at the table. Maybe a few of them are just not attorneys, but I believe so. They said 4 different law offices. Now, in the prosecutor's bench, you have 6 Caucasian women. You hear me? 6 Caucasian women, folks, and not a male in sight. So keep that in mind. I'm not making this a thing about race. I'm just painting. Right? I'm painting the room. I have nothing better to do than to come and tell you guys about this case. I haven't been very verbal but I'm being verbal today. And if you listen to me, you're going to get a good, clear indication. Like these people that say, "Oh yeah, this guy's pretty accurate. He don't make up these stories. These sorry my language, sorry, these bullshit stories." No, I'm not going to give you that. I may not be as, beautiful in speech as the rest of these people, but if you want to know what happened, I think you would listen and you'd hear a ring of truth, all right? So, 6 Caucasians. Remember when Donald Trump first became president, you had, I think his name is James Comey, right? And many Democrats was cheering him on because he really stood up to Donald Trump. Well, I believe Comey, that's the lead prosecutor, that's his daughter. Okay, so that gives you an idea that she's probably one of the best prosecutors you're going to find, because her dad was, he was the FBI leading agent, or whatever you want to frame it as, but he's top-notch guy, right? Okay, and then they have the rest of his 6, okay? On Diddy's side, you have Agnifilo, who is a very apologetic type of attorney with a style that's much different than anything I've ever seen. He's the guy that's going to be taking the hit. He's so magnificent. I see why they have him as the lead attorney now, because his strategy and his experience. And then also I met his wife, who I think she's working on Luigi Mangione or whatever his name is. I think she's covering his case. So when I come back to cover that case, I'll get to see his wife. You also have a guy named Brian Steele, folks. And I'm a fan of Brian Steele, whether you like it or not. Brian Steele is so amazing when it comes to this case. He has a style like this. He'll come up and he does squats before he even starts. That really got my attention. So he walks up like he comes to the stand, to the platform, like he's ready to take on a fight. So I'm telling you, this guy didn't show up to this case for nothing, and it's quite possible. I don't see him taking a case that he will lose. He just won Young Thug case. Like, why would you take a case of Diddy that has so much hair on it and a lot of baby oil? Oh, baby oil all over. Why would you take that case and you think you can't win it? So I'm telling you, the fact that he's here, there's a good potential for Diddy to walk out of this, maybe not totally clean, but not with the RICO and all of that. This is just my observation, folks. Whether you like it or not, I'm giving you guys the real thought. So anyway, Brian Steele, he comes in and he does this. That's what he does right before he go on the stand. So, I'm hyped up. I know he's ready to go and break it down. So check this out. He has this style where when he get on the microphone, he'll be like, "Is it fair to say," and it's just so, and he just hit those points systematically better than any attorney I think I've ever seen, folks. And that's how serious he is. But anyway, under cross-examination, for the individuals that he has cross-examined, he's the one that has torn individuals to pieces to show that they were actually not telling the truth. And the guy, we almost had a rear end here, folks. We almost had a rear end. Oh, look at there. New York, New York. Isn't that something? Wouldn't that have been something? We wouldn't have caught it on camera anyway. But anyway, there's just so much going on back here. That's why I don't really like to do it here, but I want to show the background of a court. So anyway, we have another attorney. Her name is Tenny Garagos. Her father is a high-profile man by the name of, I think his name is Mark Garagos. He was here at the very beginning of the trial, and he showed up when she cross-examined Jane Doe. So he's on the podcast Two Angry Men with Harvey from TMZ. So that's his daughter. So Diddy has her. I can tell she sits beside Diddy every day. Yesterday, when she cross-examined one of the agents, she went to sit down, and Diddy stood up, pulled out her chair, and let her sit down. So Diddy is really trying to show that even though he's done a lot of things, that he still has some gentlemanship, right? Might be something that a lot of you guys in the audience, You need to learn to open doors and pull out chairs and stop bullshitting around and treating women like you can just kick them around. See, we're off the mark. We need to bring this thing back. There's no need to beat a child. There's no need. If you're intelligent, you can often persuade people to do the right thing without having to use force. When a person uses force, it shows a lack of something. It might be a lack of brain cells. So try to not abuse people. This lady started laughing. Oh my goodness, she thought I was doing a stand-up, folks. But anyway, there's no need to beat people. So there's no need to show force. I'm telling you, unless you're in some situation where you're trying to defend yourself. But anyway, Mark Garagos, he's often in the courtroom in support of his daughter. Then there's an African-American attorney from Atlanta, I believe. I'm not sure. But her name is Nicole Westmoreland, and she is bad. I have to drop my mic. I would never want to have her cross-examine me under any circumstance because she remembers the facts and she shreds people apart. It's so amazing how she does, but she is so terrific. So basically what I'm saying is Diddy has sort of a dream team, and what you need to know about this particular place here is that they have a 95 to 98% conviction rate. So that means you have maybe a 2 to 5% chance of beating the case. Maybe you're a millionaire, a billionaire. Maybe that'll help you loosen that gap or tighten that gap, whichever way you want to look at it, so that you could potentially win. But most people don't win. I went to Donald Trump's trial. He was found guilty of 34 felonies as a former president. I was there, folks. Not even Donald Trump could walk away from the Southern District of New York unscathed. That should tell you everything you need to know about this place here. And it's going to be very difficult to beat a case where every day the government is just breaking down all the things that this man allegedly did, and they're having the witnesses to do so. So let's get back to how this case has developed. You had Cassie come in, and basically she talked about how she met Diddy. It was a working relationship. He signed her to a deal. She had 10 albums for 10 years. Let's see here. Somebody's out of. I just want to make sure that we're on point with the comments here. Somebody said something pretty vulgar. Okay. All right. We're good. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So anyway, Cassie kicked it off. She broke down how she had the album deal, and basically, Diddy had romanced her, and she fell for him, and basically all that came out. But once they got together, he introduced her to these freak-offs, where now they would bring in a man, a stranger, and sometimes these freak-offs were happening a different guy every week, and then sometimes they would have up to 3-4 guys 4 days back to back, a different guy every day. Most people in the audience, they couldn't wrap their head around that. Like, who would do something like that? I mean, that's just not traditional, right? I'm sure you guys would agree with that. But anyway, she talked about the drugs that were used. And I mean, they were using 4, 5, 6 different drugs at a time. And they also had their drugs of choice. And then they started to show by means of Cassie how when they would have these freak-offs, they would use so much baby oil. Cassie even brought out how they had filled up a tub with baby oil, kind of like a small jacuzzi of some sort. Like, who needs that much baby oil? But anyway, once I tell this story, you'll understand why the baby oil is essential. Remember, in the media, they said that Diddy had 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I remember seeing that in the media. It came out in court, I believe it was this week on Monday, that Diddy had 900 bottles of Astroglide, which is like a KY jelly lubricant, right? 900 bottles about this big. Okay, so not the big bottles, but this big, right? Then he also had 200 bottles of baby oil. It was all the same little small bottles. throughout the entire trial, I thought he had those big bottles of baby oil, but actually he had the small bottles. In the garage, out in, I believe it was out west, he had it in the garage. Okay, so he had it all stockpiled, and basically, Diddy would have the freak off. Allegedly, this is what's coming out in court. It would have stages to the freak off. So the first part of the freak off could last 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours. Okay, that's somebody just being playful or silly or whatever. The first part of the freak off is just rubbing baby oil on each other. Now, in the media, they said the baby oil had drugs in it. No, it came out in court that the baby oil did not have drugs in it. What they would do is run the baby oil under hot water so that when you apply it to the body would shine immensely. So this is what they wanted. They wanted to have a shiny freak off. So David Phillips, which is one of the sex workers from Cowboys and Angels, that's the name of the company. He came in as the first sex worker, and he talked about his experience. He says he came to the door, and he saw Cassie. He basically painted the picture that she was so beautiful, he would have hit it for free. Yes, indeed. Let's tell it like it is. He said he would have took her down for free because she was just so beautiful, but they had hired him to dance for $200. So he gets there. He's commissioned to go there. And then Cassie tells him, listen, he said he walks into the room and he's expecting to see all these females so he can do his thing, right? Start dancing. He said Cassie leads him into this bedroom of some sort. It almost made it seem like it could have been a living room / bedroom. I don't know, not even important. And he says that there's no girls there, and she basically tells him that he can have a seat on the bed. And she says, you know, my husband is going to be involved. He wants to observe or whatever. And she made a point to him, says, my husband is not gay. That's the first time in this case it made it very clear that Diddy was not gay. Now, I'm going crazy because I'm like, well, wait a minute. What happened to Meek Mill and all this stories and all this, you know, stuff we hear in the media? But none of that has been in court. And we're probably at like 5 weeks down. Nothing of the sort. Now, there were some freaky things that are very questionable that I wouldn't do. But hey, maybe somebody would do it. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to get to that part of the story. So anyway, he talks about how Diddy is in the corner. Diddy comes out and he has on, when I went to Dubai, what do they call it? The hijab or something where you wrap your head with it. So Diddy had one of those on. And I think all he could see was Diddy's eyes. And he didn't recognize Diddy until Diddy spoke, because, you know, everybody can recognize Diddy's voice. Take that, right? So, at any rate, he breaks down how they offered him $3,000 to $4,000 to perform, to go to the next level, not just dance. And he said that he started to do this whole freak off with Cassie, and Diddy is there. He is directing, rub him with some baby oil. Okay, now you, Bubby, you rub her with baby oil. So that goes on for like an hour or two. The next one is touching. Okay, so get intimate, touch here, touch there. And even sometimes he would direct them to touch him. But for the most part, they explained that Diddy would be in the corner just whacking off incessantly, folks. Just Michael Jackson beat it, right? So that's what came out in court. You know, it's not made for kids. This is not a kiddie show, but this is what came out in court. And so sometimes with the sex workers, they said that they would get distracted because they couldn't focus on having relations or intercourse with the girl, Cassie, whether it's Jane Doe, because they said, in fact, this guy, I saw him online the other day, I think it was the Punisher. Yeah, they got the Punisher in the building. Like, he's going around punishing people. Lock him up. But anyway, he couldn't stay stimulated because he said Diddy was going to town in the corner. Like, yo, this stuff is crazy, man. Like, you would never imagine that this is what's really being said in court. But this is what happened, right? So, he would get to a point. Now, this is where it's going to get graphic. I'm going to tell it like it is. But if it's going to bother you in some way, or you feel like you're going to be triggered by hearing something freaky, then I would advise you to just peace out from this video, because I'm going to tell you. I told you I'm going to tell you the story about the case, because I haven't done it yet, right? So, the guy said, now he had been with Cassie several times, right? So he's talking about the first time, but there's several times. So he said that he would get to a point where it's time for him to, we're going to call it release. Okay, we're going to call it, the word, folks, is release, 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 right? All right, so we have to take a break. I'm sorry, guys. It never fails. It never fails. All right. So the guy said that when it was time for him to release, they had specific instructions for him to release on Cassie's stomach or around her private parts. Okay. Now, in his testimony, and this is why I go to the entire trial, because I'm able to slice things together, right? So I'm going to tell you how him and Cassie are telling a truthful story. This is how I know it's true. He said that once he would release on her belly, right, her and Diddy would get up and go into the next room. Sometimes they'd be gone for like an hour, and he'd be sitting there probably swinging his toes off the edge of the bed or some bush, whatever, right? He's sitting there restless or whatever, and then they would come back out of the room and says, okay, you can be dismissed. He would get his money, and then he would go. Okay, so now this is where Cassie fills in the blank, right? Because I'm like, what were they doing for an hour? So Cassie told the story, and also Jane. She backed it up. Cassie said that they would take the release that came from the man, right? This strange man or man that Cassie often talked about. And she would rub that on Diddy's nipples. Oh, God. God bless America, home of the brave. Yeah, that's what happened, folks. That's what came out in court. And so when they brought on Jane Doe and they got to that point, I'm sitting in court like, oh, my goodness. What is she going to say? Is she going to make this even worse by saying that something else happened with it, or is she going to back it up? And the prosecutor led her right down the alley, and she confirmed that Diddy would want her, now this is Jane Doe, Diddy would want her to keep the release on her belly, and then they would proceed to make love for hours. So see, that was consistent to what the other guy had basically said. And then they would come back out of the room and they would let the guy leave. So you see how their stories jive together? That's two separate witnesses that were there for a freak off. Another sex worker came, and I'm going to probably break this down a little bit longer, and then we're going to start our tour of the city, right? Another sex worker came on, and his name is the Punisher. Now, when I hear the word Punisher, I'm like, man, this guy's out here knocking women out. And by the way, guys, here's another key point from David Phillips, who came from the Cowboys and the Angels. Can you imagine that? Cowboys and Angels, people. I was almost there. That almost took me out when I heard that. But he made a good point about this whole Diddy gay thing. He told a story, I believe it was him, that said that one time, or maybe it was Cassie that told the story, that one time the worker was behind Cassie. You know what grown people do, right? From behind, right? And then Cassie was doing something with Diddy from the front, okay? And the worker, this man, this stranger, right? He was trying to look Diddy in his eyes, and Diddy went nuts. And he said, MF, don't try to look in my eyes. I ain't with that, whatever. It's kind of like, maybe that's not the exact words, but I'm not with the gay shit. You know what I'm saying? So this came out in court. Now what you're hearing about the No Diddy movement, none of that. So really, court is much different than what I was hearing in the media. You cannot trust the media. Now, I'm not saying Diddy hasn't done some strange things. I'm just telling you it has not been in court other than the release on the stomach, and then they do a slip and slide on it, folks. Oh man, it's just all too bad, too bad. But anyway, people do all sorts of freaky things. I'm not here to judge anybody. It's just not for me, right? Okay. So the Punisher, when you hear the name Punisher, and the thing I don't like about the Punisher, he came in, I saw him give his testimony. He went on CNN like within a week. Like, we have a case going on. The man is in this courthouse fighting for his life. I mean, he did a lot of terrible things. In fact, in the beginning of the trial, they framed him as a, when I say frame, I'm saying he's pictured as a monster. Even the defense said it. He's a monster. He was beating women. He was on drugs really bad, But now on the flip side, he has been clean for the last 8 or 9 months and also taking therapy. So there's a big picture here. But anyway, this guy, the Punisher, went on CNN and he's talking about the whole situation. Now listen to what he said. This whole case, one of the things that they're talking about is sex trafficking. So they're painting the picture that they were taking money and basically paying these sex workers. In the case of Cassie, when she gave her final testimony at closing, the prosecutor asked her, why were you dealing with this or whatever? She said, because I was a sex worker. So now, by way of the prosecution, I think she was kind of led in a way. She's saying she was a sex worker. And that's what this case, 2 of these counts are about, is sex working. They're also trying to paint the picture in regards to the Mann Act. And I've had Candace Kelly come on my show. She's a legal analyst. I've had Calvin Johnson come on, and they break down the whole RICO trial, right? And what a RICO means. Okay? So we've had all that. But the painting with this, with these sex workers, they were getting paid. They came in and said it. The Punisher said he was getting 800 sometimes, 1,200 other times, 2,000 on another. So he's getting paid for sex, right? Also, they showed in court this week that Jules, the sex worker that was there when Cassie was beat to a pulp, basically on the CNN video, that basically he was paid, he was flown from New York, from JFK. They show us his airline records. They show us how Diddy paid with an American Express and how they were flown over into LA. He was flown to LA. So they're trying to build a solid case. Now, whether it'll hold up, we have to see what the defense say and how the whole case materializes. But basically, this is the picture that they're trying to paint. So with this guy, Jules, let me show you how he's the one that, because in most cases, Cassie was paying or Jane would actually hand them the money. But Jules said that one time they were having this freak off and it was so good. Diddy was enjoying it so much that he grabbed the money. I don't think he said the exact amount, but Diddy took the money and he slammed it on the bed and said, "Oh, this shit is good." And that's the time that Diddy paid him directly. So you see how they're building this case? You can't argue that, it was just the women that paid him, because now you have this guy, the Punisher. Now, the Punisher explained how he got that name. I thought it was quite interesting, but he seemed like he was a New Yorker. He used to play basketball here at the Rutgers, I believe. And I guess he was so dominant at basketball as a teenager, he developed the name the Punisher. So it did not come from his current situation or previous situation where he's a worker and a dancer, or perhaps going around punishing women or whatever, whatever you want to think about that. But it actually stemmed from basketball. So these are some of the points that, you hear in court that people are not going to actually report on because it's just not salacious or what have you. Now, I'm going to wrap this up and I'll bring it back some other time because we've been talking for quite some time. I want to have enough battery life to show you guys the Oculus. and also show you Times Square. But I will say this. The government has been building a solid case. Now, will it stand? Maybe not. I think that the juror that was taken out of here, I think that this is going to pose a big problem for the defense. Now, I don't want to get into heavy description, but I've been here, and what I normally do is I really check out the jurors. And I often can understand what they're saying to each other. Like sometimes I observe them saying when a witness is maybe not being truthful, I've seen one juror say to the person sitting next to them, "Oh, she's lying." And then the other juror's like, yeah. So you get... All right, guys, we're going to take a moment. Watch the show. This is Peter Rooster here. Here, give him some attention, guys. Put some globes in the chat. Hopefully he'll come this way. Oh, no, he's going to go over there. Let me show you guys. And this is what he does every day. So yeah, every time you try to do a video around here, this is what you have to deal with, folks. And the other day, I was on Law and Crime, or actually Dateline, and they have no regards. Look, he's just going on and on. So that's what we have to deal with around here, folks. And also, it's not uncommon for a fight to break out, or you know, when it comes to YouTube, you can't have music playing in the background. Look at him. Oh, whoop. I dropped that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is the Diddy trial. Yeah, this is it. But today it was canceled, so.
So that's why everybody's here.
Yeah. Where you guys from?
I live in North Carolina.
Oh, okay, great. I'm going to North Carolina this weekend.
Where are you going?
Charlotte.
Oh, nice.
I'll be in Greensboro for a family event.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll be in your country, in your state.
Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so I dropped that, but I didn't drop the phone. But you guys see him? This is what we deal with every day out here.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Are you live?
I'm live, but it's okay. It's all right. No, come talk to me. What's up?
No, I'm just visiting from Toronto, and I
Toronto?
decided, to
Oh, okay.
see like the whole Puffy trial thing. So it's going on
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah, it's going on here.
Oh, okay. It's much more emptier than I thought.
No, today is canceled because one of the
canceled.
jurors got sick. So
Oh, so someone left, someone got kicked out, now somebody's sick, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And there's another juror that's in hot water or something. So they haven't. I mean, it's in the media, so that's why I don't
What's
speak
your
on stuff.
IG?
It's called Watching the World 777. You want to come and say hi to folks?
Okay.
Come on.
Let's say
You're beautiful. Come on, just say hi real quick. 777. Yep. No, it's on YouTube. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's on YouTube. Okay, I'll check it
Or
out.
TikTok. So
Or
just pull up.
TikTok.
Yeah, but just come say hi real quick.
I'll just say hi.
All right, guys. We have a person
right
on.
now?
No, it's all right.
Oh,
Tell me where
okay, you
you're
got
from.
249 viewers.
Tell 'em where
Okay,
you're
I'm
from.
from Toronto, Canada.
And what brings you here?
So I'm just visiting family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Have you ever been here before?
been here many times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about 100 times.
You like it out there?
Yeah, I mean, no, you mean here I've been,
No,
right?
no. In Canada, do you like it out there?
Yeah, of course I like it. Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
nice, yeah.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah,
Good.
okay,
Good. Well,
so I'll
great.
check out your channel on YouTube.
All
Okay,
right.
all right, everybody,
Okay.
see you.
Very good. Thank
Okay.
you. And yeah, when you come on, leave me a comment so
Okay.
I'll
So
remember
let
your
me
name.
ask you something.
Yeah.
Do you think, I feel like he may get off?
There's a strong possibility of that.
Because here's the thing, like, how do I don't want to be public saying this, like, with the whole Daphne Joy thing.
Well,
she-
we
like-
can't
okay.
use any.
Okay, the whole
names.
Jane Doe
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Okay.
The thing is, she wanted him to stop the freak offs, right?
Uh-huh.
They stopped for a while. Then they were watching the freak offs on video, right? Then while watching a freak off, she was high and she said, I miss Paul. Then Diddy was like, well, call Paul. And then she called him and they were back doing freak offs. There's some people out there, they just like to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, although she was abused and like he abused his power and everything like that, I don't know. I feel like it's more like, how do I say this? He may get time for the Kid Cudi, that. Also, I think there was some extortion or whatever. But in terms of like this trafficking,
what you just said though, that would put him in line for RICO because that's two predicates.
Okay, that's two.
So
yeah,
if you feel that way,
right,
then that puts him in line for RICO.
That does put him in line, but he has to get how many? Charge of 3 out of
2 out of
2 out of, and I just named 2.
So you're contradicting a little bit, but it's all right.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't see sex trafficking. I'm just gonna say it. I don't see it.
Okay.
That's not sex trafficking. Maybe it is, but I'm not a lawyer or anything.
Right.
But from an average person, I don't see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, definitely stay in touch.
Okay, so let me go on YouTube now.
Go on YouTube, guys. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in regards to my little spill about the case. All right, so I just need 1 more minute.
Just go on this YouTube here. Everything's just slow.
Yeah, it's okay.
So it's called Watching.
Yeah, Watching the World.
Oh God,
There we go, 777 right there.
oh Lord, I'm gonna end up on your YouTube when you got 9,000 subscribers.
There you go.
Oh, I have to sign into
Yeah,
my
but that's
account.
it.
Yeah, okay. So this is it. Okay, sounds good. So there's nothing going on out here, man.
Yeah, not today.
Not today.
Court will be back on.
Right?
No, Friday. Court will be back.
Friday court will be back. What
Maybe
time does it
if
start?
I guess.
People walk in?
I'm usually here at 6. We start going in around 7:40.
Around 7:40. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll be out here 7:40. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be the last day, right?
No, not the last day. No, next week. Oh boy, they're talking about Diddy, folks. All right. All right, so it's pretty wild out here, folks. All right, so basically, I'm just going to talk about the last couple of days real quick, and that'll be it. So I told you a bunch of stories about what's happening with the case. The last couple of days, what the government did, it's so loud out here, but I'll just explain this. In this case, we've heard victims and witnesses basically from women that were involved with Diddy and actually were involved in these freak-offs, right? We also heard from Capricorn Clark. Capricorn Clark, she was one of the individuals that told a story of how she was subjected 5 days to lie detector tests. She told the story like a movie. In fact, she said that one of Diddy's security guards would take her, number one, some jewelry went missing. It was a Jesus piece, big diamond necklace, a bracelet, and also, I believe, a watch. It all went missing. Diddy had it on loaner from Jacob the jeweler. And so when it went missing, she was actually going through the airport. She noticed her bag. She called back to the office. I think it was 440 Broadway, which was their address. So you see, I'm in court paying attention. I remember the address, right? So she said, lock the building down and check everybody for this jewelry. They could not find it. So what happened was Diddy's security guard took her home to Queens, to her apartment, and he went through the entire apartment. She had a roommate, went through all the stuff and couldn't find the jewelry, but he told her, I'm going to come back tomorrow morning and pick you up, and we're going to go and get to the bottom of this. He picked her up the next morning, and she said he took her to this warehouse, which was basically, at the time, Bad Boy was in between buildings. And so the new building was under construction. They painted a picture. And so she said that this security guard picked her up, pretty much forced her to come. And as they were walking in the building, she said the door was locked from the outside. So now you're painting the picture like you're keeping her perhaps against her will. And she said she went up to the 6th floor, and when they opened up basically the elevator or the door, she saw this big fat guy, like a mobster. He was 5 times as wide as her, and he was smoking cigarettes back to back to back. And he sat her down and told her, like, listen, if you fail this lie detector test, it was like, B, we're going to throw you in the East River. And so she talked about how terrified she was. In fact, her exact words is that she was petrified, okay? She was petrified, and she said that he administered lie detector tests all day until 5. And then also, the security guard would take her home, and he did that all week from Monday to Friday, 5 days. And she was so out of sorts that they could not get a true finding on her lie detector test. So he was like, listen, you got to calm down or you're going to end up in the East River. And again, she said, and it sounds very believable to me, she says, because the attorney says, well, why did you call the police or whatever when they took you home at night? She says, well, I was trying to prove myself that I was not a liar. But I'm like, man, you really going about proving yourself. You're going to end up in that East River trying to prove yourself. So at any rate, she told that story. So that's a person that essentially worked for Diddy. I think she was the person that said she got her job off of an ad on Craigslist. There was one person that got their job. They responded to an ad on Craigslist. I think it was David James that said he responded to the job through an ad in the New York Times. So I think it was Capricorn Clark that said that. Also, what's interesting to know about the sex workers, a lot of them were found on Craigslist and Backpage. So you have a guy that's a big-time billionaire, and they're getting sex workers off Craigslist. That's weird to me. All right. So at any rate, when it comes to these individuals, the victims, the women, they've been trying to argue that they did it for money because in many cases they have already received money from Diddy. Like Cassie received $20 million from Diddy. She received another $10 million from the hotel. And the reason why, one of the reasons allegedly that we could put the pieces together is because Diddy, according to the witness, Eddie Garcia, he paid to have the video go away. So he paid them $100,000 to get rid of the original video of Cassie coming down the hallway getting beat. And the only reason why they have the video is because the security guard that responded to this event, the security guard, he took a video with his cell phone, a video of the video, so he could take it home and show it to his wife. And that's how Diddy got jammed up. All because of this guy. I think if that video hadn't have came out, because this case, let's talk about it. This is not a very strong case anymore. I thought the government would be batting at 90%. Right now they might be at 60, but they should be much stronger than that. And to get rid of one of the jurors, especially a black juror, and you have a black defendant with such notoriety, that's insanity. Because it's not going to sit well with the people at large. Even though the judge make a solid point, the guy did not show candor because he did misrepresent the truth. When they asked him, where do you live? Okay, so I came to the jury selection, right? And they asked certain questions. One of the questions is, where do you live? He said the Bronx. Who do you live with? He said he lived with his baby child and his fiance. So last week he was running his mouth, probably shouldn't have been, but he mentioned that he was commuting back and forth to Jersey every day and how stressful or whatever. So one of the jury staff heard him and they reported it to the government or the prosecutors. So then they questioned him again and say, hey, where are you living? He says, oh, I just moved to Jersey with my child and the fiance. So then when they went back and they put 2 and 2 together, they realized that at first he painted a picture that he lived in the Bronx with his baby and fiance. Now he's saying he moved to Jersey with them and that they had been living there all along. And that he also, in another occasion, said that his aunt lived in the Bronx, and so he was still predominantly staying there 4 to 5 days a week. At any rate, he's out of here, people. They kicked him right out. He's out of here, gone, goodbye. And quite frankly, there was a limited amount of African American individuals on the jury from the jump. At the very beginning of this trial, the defense stood up and says, listen, you had 9 African American males that you could choose from, and the prosecutors came right in and they struck out 7 of those black or African American men, only leaving 2, right? That's something to think about. That was an argument at the beginning of this case. So, the last couple of days, the case is about to close out, right? And guess what? We haven't seen Capricorn Clark. We haven't seen any of the security guards at all that were from Diddy's inner circle. Remember, the government is trying to paint that he had a criminal enterprise. In fact, when they brought in Derek Ferguson, who was Diddy's CFO, he basically showed that one of the corporations that Diddy had was Combs Enterprises. And that's when everybody started to see the big picture that they're trying to paint, that this enterprise that he had was used for criminal activity. And that's where they're trying to establish this RICO case. So, the last 3 days, remember I said they didn't bring in Capricorn Clark, or also known as KK. They didn't bring in Bonds. They didn't bring in Uncle Paulie, Rue, any of these individuals that we heard, right? Well, guess what? They brought in a government agent that had all the text messages from everybody involved in this case, from Diddy Inner Circle. And now you're starting to see why now you can understand why they're calling it a RICO for Diddy as a one man. Because basically we don't know who cooperated and who is not already taking a deal, and that's why they're not being charged. And some of this is still sealed. But here's the thing. The government has all the text messages. They have this software or service called Cellbrite, I believe. Yeah, Cellbrite, I believe, something like that, right? It basically pulled up all the text messages for like 10, 15 years. And so going back around 2009, they show you where they're flying the sex worker from JFK. One of the charts that they use, it tells you people, places, and things, and the time. So on the chart, let's say the day of the hotel where Cassie's in the hotel and Diddy is beating her, right? For that event, on the chart, they have 3 people involved. Diddy, Cassie, and the sex worker Jules. Okay, so we know who was there and in the room. They asked the agent, how do you know who to put on the list as being in the room? And she says, we do it off of video. So they're not even taking word testimony. They're using metadata from the hotel lobbies and places to tell you who came through. So let me tell you how the government works. They don't need Diddy's inner circle. You know what they're using? They're using these text messages. They're using the hotel receipts. Diddy had an alias called Frank Black and Frank White. They show that on the hotel invoice, folks. They show that Diddy used American Express to buy the airplane ticket that's moving this sex worker from New York. They show you the text messages where Cassie is saying, we're in LA, can you come out here? We're gonna, basically get together. They show you him traveling. They show you his text messages where he's responding to Diddy and Cassie saying, I'm on my way, come here. They show you basically, allegedly, where Diddy's company, remember I said Christina Coram, she's the chief of staff. They show you where she's arranging or involved in the transportation with the company vehicles to transport the sex worker to the hotel. When they get to the hotel, they show you they show you that there's metadata with the sex worker in the lobby of the hotel. Diddy allegedly beats Cassie. Well, we saw it on the video, right? They show you after that. They show you where Cassie had gotten beaten, and now she's trying to cover up Diddy's like, please come back to me. She has an event to go to. She's worried she's going to have a black eye for her big event. They show you all this is on text messages way after the beatdown in the lobby of that hotel. And then on top of that, remember I told you the guy Eddie Garcia came in and he talked about how Diddy paid them $100,000 to make the video go away, and his manager agreed to it. They show you all the text messages where Diddy and his internal chief of staff are communicating with each other saying, we got to make this go away. Like, what you gonna do with this, right? They have all the text messages that anybody, we already seen the bodies and people walk in and tell the story. And now they're about to finish this case up, and they're showing you where one of the points of interest is that Diddy had asked that the individuals that were involved and that would receive the $100,000 because they were making the video go away, Diddy had asked for their driver's license. They show you the driver's license, people. The government showed us yesterday the driver's license that were collected. Everything that these people came into court and said, they back it up. So a call came in. So everything that these people came into court and said, they back it up in court, folks. And that's what we saw the last couple of days. And this is where I'm going to rest my case. But the point of the matter is now, which was today, they were supposed to bring in the guy Brendan. Remember when Diddy was arrested, there was a white guy that they called the drug mule. I saw him yesterday. Somebody's calling. Sorry, guys. Somebody's calling me like crazy. So let me go back a little bit because I was receiving a call. He's a tall guy. In the picture, I thought he would be a short guy, but his name is Brendan. He's a tall guy. But anyway, he's coming in. He was supposed to be on the stand today, but court got canceled. But he's going to probably break down all the drug usage and whether or not this usage was personal use or maybe there was a bigger picture. But the government does not play games with you. I do think that for the jury members, I think at large, as American people, when we think about RICO and racketeering, I think we think about organized crime with like mob bosses and making money. There's none of that here, so to speak. But when it comes to operating your personal organization in a way where you're doing criminal activity, that's what they're going after. I think that there's a problem with that. I think an average person is going to have problems thinking Diddy was a mob boss that they're trying to paint. They tried to paint that. I don't think it's there. I think the sex trafficking and the prostitution area, well, actually, number one is racketeering, right? Number two is sex trafficking, fraud, force, or coercion. The government showed you all three. That's how bad they are. They showed you the force right from the video, right? Cassie's getting beaten. Get back in here and finish this freak off. That's what they're trying to paint. However, the defense, right? The defense paints it a different way. You got to know this. You got to know it, people. The defense says that in the video, at some point, Diddy comes and you can see him with a phone in his hand. So they're basically saying at that point, he was beating her and upset because she took his phone and tried to run. And so he beat her, took the phone back, and that's why he's walking back down the hall and he has his phone in his hand. Okay, so that's the force part. The sex trafficking, we already discussed it. The men have come in and said, hey, I was paid to knock her down. I was paid for the baby oil, splish and splash, you know? They talked about that. They showed these men were in New York and they were flown to LA and Florida. They also showed that Jane Doe was being flown around. They're also painting her as basically an elaborate sex worker too, because basically she has her rent still being paid and her legal fees are still being paid, folks. And she was doing these freak offs every week, and many times about 2 years ago, they show us the text messages where she's saying to Diddy, I don't want to deal with these freaking men. I got an infection, a UTI. You know, I'm sick, and it's my time of the month. I want to be loved. And so this is where the fraud comes in. Let me break down the fraud. We're still on count 2. Sex trafficking with force, fraud, or coercion. Here's the fraud. They use her personal notes from her diary. And in the diary, she says, Diddy is a pathological liar. Well, what do they mean by fraud? Basically, Diddy is telling her, come out and hang out with me for the night. Right? He flies her in, come be with me, I'm going to wine and dine you, like we did from the beginning. Although he did tell her it was an open relationship and he would see other women. But he would tell her, come, let's hang out tonight, and then get her into a freak off. There'd be a strange man coming. So basically, it's a misrepresentation of the material facts because you're saying, I'm going to do this and spend time with you, but it was just a ploy to get her into another smackdown freak off. You see what I'm saying? They say the coercion with Cassie is the fact that he would pull her in. He offered her a 10-album, 10-year deal. She only did 1 year, 1 album. And then after that, he had her doing freak offs for 10 long years, folks. I mean, they had an on and off sort of relationship. But that's where the coercion, because they're saying he cut off her money stream. And then she had to basically keep doing freak offs to stay in the arrangement. Now, on the flip side, the defense is doing a great job because they're showing, like they showed yesterday, Cassie is saying, oh, I can't wait to have those 2 big D's and lick them from top to bottom, folks. God, unbelievable, right? Or another time, Diddy says, let's have one last freak off. And Cassie says, I don't want to have one last freak off. I want to have the first freak off of freak offs for the rest of my life. See what I'm saying? That doesn't sound like a person. You know, you can't really say, because here's the thing for all the guys in the audience. A woman can tell you 9 times she wants to do things with you, but if she tell you on that time 10 no, you better listen, because all it takes is one time. Just because someone likes doing something, like I might like eating barbecue ribs today, but maybe tomorrow I change my mind. See what I'm saying? So people have the right to change their mind, and you can't force them to do what you want them to do. And so that's where it gets tricky, because it's kind of confusing, because even with Jane, she wanted to do a fest. She is the one that's trying to make Diddy happy, so she's scheduling to take down 3 men at the same time, folks. This is what I just saw in court last week. She sat up there and she talked about it. Diddy is still paying her rent for $10,000 a month, and he's paying her legal fees right now. Her attorney was in the audience, and here's the thing about that particular one, though, the Jane. I'll tell you about Jane. She is the one that said, basically, she was the one that was ordering these freak offs to a certain extent. So in a way, she helped the defense. So she helped Diddy. So it's something to think about. A lot of strange things happen. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the juror that's off. A lot of people are very upset about that because they feel like it's going to dramatically change the outcome of the trial. Now, when it comes to the book smart people, they're going to say, oh, no big deal. You know, that's what an alternate juror is for, right? You take a licking and you keep on ticking. But there's a problem in this country that deals with race. So people at large might feel a certain way, but people in the black community, yeah, they feel differently because they see weird things like this happening throughout the world. And we know the history of this country. We know the history of life in general, not to point fingers or what have you, but I'm saying what you're hearing in the media may not reflect what people that look like Diddy feel about the case. And so now you're starting to see people step up and say, wait a minute.
Stop sleeping and take showers.
Okay, everybody want to be heard. He had his 3 seconds of fame here. All right. So anyway, that's it for today, folks. I think if you really listen to me, I think you learned a lot about this case. And let me tell you, this is where I'm going to go a little bit out there. It's what it is, folks. And I'm going to say it in a very judicious way.
Get something to eat.
Okay.
Around the corner.
Okay. All right. I'll come
I don't
over
want
there.
to disturb you.
Okay.
But I'll get your info.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll say this. Brian Steele, I'll use him in what he said so I don't get myself in trouble, right? It might be hard coming from me as an African American man. I don't want people to get distracted. Brian Steele said, if this guy had a problem with his address, why didn't you grab that from day one, right? Now that's debatable. They just found out, maybe they didn't want to look into it, but Brian Steele painted the picture like maybe because he's writing notes, maybe he's looking at Diddy a certain way. Now I'm loosely speaking, but I'm giving you an idea of what was said. Maybe this is why now all of a sudden you want him out of here. Now he didn't say it that blunt, but that's what I gathered. That's my interpretation. And that's the interpretation of a lot of people that are following this case, trying to look at it unbiased. Now we sat in court. To me, they've shown an overwhelming amount of evidence. I can rattle through it with you. I can debate about it. I remember I've been in court paying attention. You're already winning, right? This is where it gets.
Use all her money. You want to feel right?
You're already winning the case, at least maybe by 5 or 10%. Taking the juror out, I think it had a very negative effect. Now people are starting to pay attention because the narrative have changed a bit. And now, maybe there's no truth to that at all because now another juror has trouble. So maybe that'll help balance things out a bit. But I'm just trying to help you understand what people that I interact with, what they're thinking about this and how this juror, I mean, even if you go back and look at the letter that the defense put out on Sunday night, they break down that this is it just has hair on it. You know, it just doesn't set right with me. I've been in the courtroom every day, folks. You almost fell. I've been paying attention, and Diddy did a lot of stuff. I mean, they've proven a lot of stuff. I'll debate anybody about it, but that may not materialize in a guilty plea from 12 people on the jury, is my argument. A mistrial in this case is at an all-time high prior to this guy leaving the courtroom. All right? They already said on record he's a black male, so I'm not releasing some information that you can't find on the transcript. Now, on top of that, knowing the history, he's replaced by a Caucasian man. Folks, I'll leave it at that. They were already winning to a certain extent. Now, could the defense come in and knock their 60 off and reverse this thing to where the defense is up and the prosecutor is down? Quite possible, or maybe not. But at any rate, when things like this happen, and also in our country right now, there's a lot of hatred on both sides of the aisle. So any little thing like this that people can point to, anything like that is just not good. So anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. The rest of the day, I will be showing you guys around the city. But as far as my spiel about Diddy case, I'm taking a break from it for today. I will show you guys the city as I said. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, we have so many comments at this point, it would be nearly impossible, but I'll try to see what's going on a little bit. Man, thank you for all the support. You guys like the video. Thank you. Please like it, share, and subscribe. That's if you want to. It's not a big deal. I don't really care. Let's see. A big says they don't care about the favors they receive for the line sitters. They're not letting cloud chasers in their platform. What happened yesterday? Yes, yes. There he is. How are you?
It's on you, so what you want to do?
All right, all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, you got my box. I got my box.
Okay, guys. What's up, Cindy? Cindy's holding it down. Joe Flores. Joe is my friend in real life. Shout out to you, Joe. And Cindy. Michelle, thank you for the super chat. Be safe. Hey, guys, I posted Michelle's video. Michelle posted a nice video about peace. And I need a lot of peace right now. When you sit in a court case like this for 5 or 6 weeks now, and all you're hearing about is abuse, it takes a toll on you. So go check out Michelle. Michelle, post your video link in the chat. I think everybody needs to go follow Michelle Renice. She's right on the screen right now. Go subscribe to her channel. Show her some love. She is definitely a watcher. So check her out, folks. I think I can carry out the rest of this show by walking. So we're gonna start making some. 20% left. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna get on the move here in a minute. Okay, Sandra says, thank you for keeping us up, driving us. Shout out to you. One of my day one fans here, okay, or members here. Clinton Smith says something, integrity over race. Rock King, that's right, integrity over race. That's true. I get that. John, what's your honest opinion, dude? Do you think he's guilty? Do I think he's guilty? I think he's guilty because of certain things that have happened. There's no doubt about it. I'm a human being. It's not stuff I would do. They've shown things that have gone against the law. But here's the thing. Here's the point. If someone, let's say, slaps you, right, and then they kick you, right, you have to charge the person right. So if I kick you, don't charge me for slapping you, or don't charge me for body slamming you. So I think the RICO is the part where they feel like the government is being excessive, right? And when it comes to the other things, it is what it is, right? But the RICO is the part that I'm hearing from everybody, like he's not a big mob boss. Maybe you're just doing too much. Charge him individually for all this other stuff, but maybe that's just how it works. But I'm just saying, when it comes to people in the jury, we'll have to see how they interpret it. Okay, but the RICO is the part that's a little messy, folks. It's just a little messy. All right. All right, thank you for keeping us, okay, sorry guys, let's see. It's hard to keep up with all these messages. Okay, thank you for explaining everything. Appreciate you taking the time. Yes, indeed, Michelle. I'm supporting you every day, all day. All right, John, stay safe, brother. Yes, sir, John, I definitely will. Thanks for breaking this down. Appreciate you taking the time. Yeah, I wanted to do this for a while. I think it helps you to see, because people are just making up stuff about the case. They say Kamala Harris has been here, Barack Obama. All this stuff is crazy. Sandra Patterson, all these great people here. I'm glad to hear directly from this person in the Yankees ball cap. Right on. Thank you. I'll keep bringing you guys the truth. Like I said, I'm going to be branching out with law and crime. I'll be covering other cases. I'm going to cover R. Kelly. His ODing or whatever that's going on. I'll cover various cases for you guys. Let's see. So how old is Diddy baby oil person? I don't understand that question, OG Rex. John, unless the bribes the judges, which has been known to happen. Yep. Ivan Curry. Oh, good behavior. Diddy may be lucky to get out of prison when he's 71. If you ask me what I really think, guys, I don't think you can beat the government. I came to Donald. A lot of people are probably not going to be happy with me, but I like covering Donald Trump. I mean, I don't go either way with it, but I like to keep, covering that type of story. So I covered his trial. So yeah, I'll be covering that sometime. Just the headlines or what have you. Donald Trump's brother used to be my client. He lived up by me in upstate New York. He died about, I'd say he died about 5 years ago now. Yeah, really nice guy, but much different than his brother. But through his brother, I learned a lot about their family. So that's why I'm very interested to see how things happen. So sometimes I'll cover Trump, sometimes I'll cover, but the Trump crowd is very tough. They're a tough group, and they say things that are aggressive. So we just have to be mindful to be respectful, people. That's all. Michael says Diddy is a reflection of us. True. It depends now. I'm not with all this baby oil, you know what I mean? And with all these freak offs. Okay. So we have Audi. Dunking these nuts. I don't understand that. All right, guys. So, okay. So, guys, we got to get Duncan. Somebody with a name like Dunking these nuts. You know what you're going to get from the beginning. So we got to, let's put them on timeout. I can't, let's see here. I don't know if Joe and Cindy, you guys should check out Dunking these nuts or whatever. All right, guys, let's see. This is terrible. Okay. Ivan says RICO has already been proven in this case. There's a lot of truth to that. But again, will the jury see it that way? That's the question. Where did the victims think they were found? Ads of sex workers in a hotel. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. All right. Okay, guys, so we're going to check out the Oculus now. For those who want to stick around and check it out. I think I went on for quite some time, over an hour. So I gave you guys a lot of information about the trial. I think we've had over 20,000 people and 85 likes. So it's what it is, folks. It's what it is.
I'm like, yeah, comment. I'm like, but you didn't comment on my LinkedIn or like it. 101.
That's the beginning. That's the end.
I like his app, but I think I like yours better.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you guys hear the officers down there talking about baby oil? They're debating about baby oil, Johnson and Johnson or a knockoff brand. All right, guys, we're gonna go check out the Oculus, and then we're gonna check out Times Square and call it a day. Thank you guys that have been on. Right, so now we have battery. All right. So the entire court is not canceled, as you can see. There's other cases going on. So this is where we're going in the mornings. The left side is for the public, the right is for the press. So these people are in line for the next court day, which is Friday morning. They're waiting for Friday, folks.
Either.
So now we're heading to the Oculus for those who want to check it out. Then after that, I'll take you guys into Times Square before I get out of here. Actually, though, I have to go to the press pass. I could do it online. Okay, folks. So that's the building we're heading to right here. It's called the Oculus. It stands in the place of the World Trade Centers, basically. Oh, actually, I'm going to take you guys first, though, to see the ICE headquarters. Usually when I pass there, there's people out there crying because somebody was picked up by ICE. And a lot of New Yorkers are upset because ICE is knocking people upside the head, allegedly. So, all right. All right, folks. So over here to the left is where they have the protests. Later on tonight, they'll be out there ready to take on the police. Oh, this is where Donald Trump's trial was, right here. In this building here, 100. Right here, that building. That's the courthouse for Donald Trump's trial. So this is the back of the ICE building right here. This tall building, all this here. And you see the heavy police presence because probably around 3 o'clock you'll see all the protesters starting to assemble. And again, the other night when I was out here, people were getting stabbed. So this is the Jacob Javits building here, and ICE is around front. So it's kind of like motor vehicle. This is where you can come to resolve your papers. all the federal buildings. You can't just leave easily. This is the Jacob Javits building here. So this is the ICE building here.
So here's one thing. Why are you saying all these moves and changes is going to happen in 28 when the next thing will come and change the whole administrative by itself?
But you can only take the bills and pass it. They're not executive.
Review this phone.
I look at him. Look.
So this is where you come to resolve all of your ICE issues. They'll lock you up in a heartbeat. But a lot of New Yorkers are upset because people are getting body slammed, head busted. That's the rumor. Yeah.
Like on Facebook, full face.
You see the graffiti in strange places, right? When I went to Italy, I went to Rome, and they had literally as much graffiti as New York City. It's called expression, people. When I went to Dubai, I didn't see any graffiti, not one. I didn't see one homeless person. It's just much different. Okay. So we're just gonna check out the Oculus really quick.
Então, a gente está já pensando.
They have everything barricaded off because of the protests. Look at there. Have you ever been here before? African Burial Ground, National Monument. Never heard of that before. I gotta check it out. Across the ocean, look at there. All right. So we're in the area where the World Trade Centers used to be at.
Seven blocks down, one block over.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Okay.
Like 5 minute walk. 10 minutes. 5 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, guys, we have 7 blocks to go, and we'll be at the Oculus. Okay, guys, here we go. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to cross over 1 block here. All right, all right. We're just gonna go down 1 block and then we'll be at the Oculus in a few minutes. Then we'll check out the Times Square, see who's protesting today. What are the people mad about? Well, you need a fancy ink pen, you can go there.
You had so much momentum.
All right, get you some clothes for $5, people. $5, people. Guys, like, share, and subscribe if you want to keep seeing this type of stuff. If you want to keep seeing the trials. All right, so there we go. There's the Oculus right here. This is where the World Trade Center was. We're almost there, folks. We're almost there. There it goes. There's the Oculus, people. You're going to see why they call it an Oculus in about 2 minutes. One of the most fascinating. Now, when I went to Dubai, I saw some of the most amazing structures known to man, but this building takes the cake in some regards. You'll see why. So you can start to see it here. Wow, they have a Dunkin' Donuts and a Starbucks side by side. So see, folks, here's an example of what I was talking about a RICO. When you think about a RICO, you think about 2 different entities like this here. And they're both trying to make the most money And sometimes one company takes on the other and it's a big fight, you know what I mean? That's what you think about. I'm just saying, when you think about what the average person probably thinks about a RICO or racketeering, but when it comes to the law, it's much different. It's a lot more simplistic, I guess, than what we think. A lot of people moving around today, folks. But here is the Oculus. So this is literally where the World Trade Center was. The day that the airplanes went down, I remember I was in New York. I had been here for 3 years. And my mother called me and said, "You all right?" You know, my mother passed away from cancer a year later, but she died in 2002. But she was like, "Oh, they just ran the airplane into the building." I'm like, "What are you talking about, Mom?" And lo and behold, I turned on the television, and that's when the second airplane hit. But she was happy that I was all right. But this is where it all went down, folks. This is where the World Trade Center fell, the 2 buildings. And this is how they have replaced what was with what is, you know? So here we go, folks. Uh-oh. Church of St. Peter. All right. So there you have it, folks. This is what they call the Oculus. That's it right there, folks. So this is where the 2 buildings existed previously. Both towers of the World Trade Center. So this is what you call the Oculus. And this is where 9/11 happened at, right here. I haven't been here in such a while. I don't recall this beer garden here. What's that all about? I have a few friends that would love to hear about a beer garden. Sorry. Folks, this is where the World Trade Centers went down. 9/11, I'll never forget. All right, Joe, I don't know if that's better. I cleaned the lens off. Not sure. Is it still fuzzy, folks? No, I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. Do you work in the area?
No, I'm just here for the Diddy trial.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so you're like a tourist, a visitor?
No, I live in New York, but I'm just covering the trial online.
Oh, amazing. Cool. Well, that sounds intense, so good luck.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys, we're about to check out the Oculus. Alright, so this is what I've been telling you guys about right here. Check it out, folks. Isn't this amazing? So this is the inside, folks. This is what I've been telling you about. You can eat whatever you want to do here. One time I was here, they was filming some Japanese movie. Very interesting. So this is what they replaced the World Trade Centers with. So folks, they call this the Oculus. You can get right to the subway. You can get right to the subway from here. You can go right in. So it's kind of like a shopping mall, you know? Close to where the World Trade Center used to be at. Before the towers went down. It's like a glorified mall. And there's no cash in this building, so you can't, if you come looking to buy something with cash, you came to the wrong place. Everything is electronic here. They don't take any cash in any of these places. Maybe you could have $1,000 in your pocket and you'll starve because they're not going to take your cash. I tried it before, but good thing I had my card, obviously. But yeah, no cash zone. And you can see from the outside structure, it looks like you can tell from the inside. So yes, indeed, this is what they call the Oculus over here. And like I said, you can hop right on the train from here. Yeah, it is. It's beautiful inside, right? Amazing stuff. A lot of people have never been here. I've been here before. Like I said, I had a lot of cash on me and I wasn't thinking, but I did have a card. But if I didn't have my card, I would not have eaten. So what I'll do, I'll hop on the train here. I'll catch the A or the C train. See here? And then I'll go to Times Square. So when I come back on, I'll be in Times Square. If any of you guys want to see what's happening in Times Square on a regular day in New York City, a lot of protesting though. A lot of protesting people. Amazing building though. An amazing building. Like I said, when you go to Dubai, you'll see structures like this all the time. You'd be wondering, like, how did they put it all together? But it's amazing. It's amazing stuff, folks. Amazing stuff. Yeah, probably because I'm inside the building. I'm not sure why it went fuzzy, you know. It must have been the service in the area. All right. So you can see the train. Okay. So Michelle, you were going to Dubai. Let me tell you, Dubai is amazing, but they have rules, and if you don't follow the rules, they will lock you up. So I was nervous when I was there. One of the friends that went with me, he's a correctional officer, and he was dressed like a rapper. And so they pulled him right when he came into. They didn't pull me. I guess I was dressed like a dad. Oh man, I gotta get with the program. Anyway, he was dressed like a rapper, and they pulled him automatically. Gave him a nice little interview. Want to know where he was going, what he was doing. So yeah, they don't play any games over there. All right, guys. That's the Oculus I've been telling you guys about. I'd show you. I try to keep my word. This is pretty dope. I should get a still. Somebody get a still shot of this. Let's see if we can get a. Maybe somebody get. That's pretty dope right there. That's okay. All right, so this is some sort of museum. That's a tall lady. Jeez Louise. She's about 7 feet tall. All right, so let's see.
Oh my gosh, what you want to ask though?
And what is this here? I've never been in Mercer Labs.
Me, did you know? I didn't know.
Not sure what that is, but I want to check it out now. Look at there. Oh, it looks like it's art and technology. Now I would want to check that out. I have to come back. I'll have to come back and check it out, folks.
You taking a picture?
No. Oh, you want me to take it?
Yeah, I think.
All right. What you got?
You say?
What's that? You want me to take a picture for you?
Yeah, if you can.
All right. Is this you or you got people or what?
Nah, only.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Right here. All right.
Next Friday is this.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
You got
Appreciate
it, brother.
it, right?
Yes, sir. So you see it says World Trade Center, guys. This is like a memorial of a very sad day in time. Look at there. Look at all the flags, folks. I think everybody remember that day, right? So they put up this structure, the Oculus, and they also put up this one here with the... Wow, this is amazing, man. This place has a nice vibe to it. You wouldn't think something so horrible happened here. And last time I came, that place there, the beer joint wasn't there. Where the beer drinkers at? Anybody drinking beer around here? All right, here we go. So that's the other structure there. Look at that. You can see that building from probably Florida. That's so tall. Let's see, okay. Now, I've never been to this one. I've been here before it was there. I just didn't care to go look and see what it was about. But before I leave you guys, we're going to check it out. That building wasn't there either, so all of these new structures. See here? Just like what we saw inside, you can come here and see on the outside, folks. Look at it. All right, all right. Yes, this is New York, people. This is New York, New York. I guarantee if you stop and ask most of these people where they're from, they're not even from New York, probably not even the United States. This place is a big time attraction. People come from all over the world. That's the beautiful part about New York. You get to see all types of people. And for the most part, people are behaving and getting along. So, oh, look at here. Check this out. I didn't even know this existed. So they have a museum over here. Wow, look at there. Now, I used to come to the World Trade Center. People taking pictures. Oh, look at here. Oh, look, they actually put up a World Trade Center. Oh, wow. So there's a new World Trade Center. I didn't know that. So see here? Oh, wait. I think there was always, this is building number 3. Okay, so this is the building that took a big hit. I've always heard about building number 3. So this is the building that took a hit when the towers came down. This has an Egyptian type of flavor to it, right? With the All right, they're all at the round table, folks. That's pretty neat. All right, this is New York City. We're at the Oculus where the World Trade Center went down, folks. I haven't been here in years. Come and sit at the table. Sit at the table, people. Sit at the table. All right. This is what it's like to sit at the table, folks. We just call it family reunion. Thanksgiving dinner, right? All right, I feel at home. All right. This is it. Okay, so now we have the memorial across the street. All right. Okay, I didn't know about that either, but I know now. 9/11 Memorial Museum. So now you guys know where to come for your next trip. Hit me up ahead of time and I'll give you a tour, show you around. Okay, guys. Now I'm very intrigued by this. I'm gonna have to come back down and check out this museum. I'm very interested in that. Look at this. This is the building in the place of the World Trade Center. Look at it. And building number 3. Remember when the towers went down, they kept talking about building number 3. Oh, look at here. For the right price, you can put this in your kitchen ceiling. Right there, guys. Put it right in your kitchen ceiling. Put it right in the kitchen ceiling right there. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Massive structures. Massive structures. I just want to see what this building is about. I want to see what's going on. Might as well be nosy all day. So guys, we didn't have court today. There's a problem with the juror. Yesterday the judge kicked everybody out of the courtroom. I say that lightly. Just ask everybody to get out. There was an issue that came up. We didn't hear what that was, but today court has been canceled due to maybe illness or whatever, I don't know. Something like that. Look at the crane on top of the building, guys. Look at that. A friend of mine that lives upstate where I live at, his dad owns a crane company. Like that there, you see that, guys? And about 3 years ago, one of those cranes fell and killed a few people. And his dad was never the same. You know, and they made a killing. Oh, I say that's weird. They made a lot of money with that crane business, but you know, once somebody lose their life, what is going on over here? They must have some sort of. Oh yeah, that's right. I forget. I think on September 11th, I saw Barack Obama come here, and there's some sort of. Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, that's right. So check this out, guys. Watching the World. And all you got to do is just like the video. Look at this. This is it right here. Good thing I came over here, folks. You have the names of all the victims and the waterfall. All right, guys. John Michael. Wow. Walter Philip Travers. Look at that. Daniel Song. Folks, look at all the people that lost their lives. Each of these names means something, you know? Wow, look at that. I remember Barack Obama coming here now. I forgot all about this, folks. Look at this. We got lucky today, folks. Oh my. John Henwood. Michael Colbert. Look at there. These are all people that unfortunately lost their lives. This is something. And the names go on and on. Look at all the people that lost their lives in one day. That's crazy. Wow.
Bu olayın da birini kimse görmüyor.
You wonder how many people that are here right now that actually lost a loved one and their name is on the memorial here. So this is the memorial for the World Trade Center that fell and all the people that lost their lives. Oh man. I actually knew a female that lost her life that day. I bet you if I really looked for it, I could find her name. Wow. I had a friend of mine I went to school, actually I grew up with. Her name was January. She worked, I think, on like the 70th floor. But as always, she was running late that day and she saved her life. Being late saved her life. I haven't talked to her in a long time. All right. So this is the memorial for the World Trade Center, folks. So apparently one of the buildings was right here. That would make sense, right? Wow. So this is where one of the buildings were. Wow. Okay, so here's the no court tour today. This is pretty nice here. Look at this. And this is the other one that's so tall. I just want to know what it looks like up close. That's it, folks. That's the one you can see from 95 when you're driving down south and everywhere. The tallest one. Okay. Yes, indeed. Wow, look at here. This must be some sort of federal activity going on here. One WQC. Not sure. some sort of federal building though, because you can tell by the makeup. Oh, here we go. Oh, it's One World Trade Center. Wow. So this is the replacement for Building 1? Okay. So now I see what's happened. Okay, so this is where Building 1 was of the World Trade Center. And here's where Building number 2 was. Okay. So this is actually where the building came down at. I get it. And they left the hole there. Man. Hi. A lot of people. All right, well, I'm gonna hop on the train. I'm gonna lose everybody. I have to go about 42 blocks, I guess, up to Times Square. We'll do a little tour to see if anything's happening. But folks, this is where the World Trade Center went down. That's building number 1 there, rebuilt. Building number 2 was right here, and they just left the hole. That's kind of sad if you ask me. I didn't know that. So there's no court tomorrow, but we're doing a lot of shows tomorrow, collaborating and all sorts of fun things. And then we're back in court on Friday because they said today court is canceled or adjourned until further notice. That sounds like to me it may not even be back up on Friday. For those of you that just came in, I gave a good rundown about the case. You just have to back up because I've been live for quite some time, almost 3 hours now. The other day I was live, 200,000 people checked in. That's a lot of people. 200,000. The day before that was 164,000, you know. People want to know about the protests in New York City. There's so much to do here. You can come and watch a Broadway play. You can do whatever you want to do. You have a lot of beers over here at the beer factory or whatever it's called. We did a tour of the Oculus. So right. So what I'll do is I'll go back into the Oculus, get on the train and go to Times Square where it all goes down, folks. Somebody put graffiti all the way up there on a construction project. That's crazy to me. Jeez. Man. See the church in the middle of it all, folks. St. Peter's, right there in the middle. Yep. Oh, okay. So I've stayed at this hotel before, many years ago. Wow. Actually, they must have a second location because, yeah, there's no way I stayed at this building. But there's another Millennium that I stayed at before. So the thing here in New York, when you stay at a hotel, let's say you're traveling, and you see that you could come stay here, let's say the Millennium Hotel. I stayed at the one around 42nd Street. And you might see a number like $239 a night. And then when you get there, they charge you these housing fees, which are additional $100. Now, where I'm from down in Virginia, at least years ago, you could get a good hotel room for $100 a night. So here, they hit you with that fee on top of everything else. Now you started at $290. By the time you pay the fees, you're over $400, $500. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes down. It's the way of the world around here. You guys want to do the bus tour? You go to bigbus.com, right? I've never taken one of those bus tours. And I don't think I will. Oh boy. I did a boat tour like that in Fort Lauderdale called the Jungle Queen before. That was fun. It was a double-decker boat. If you ever go to Florida, you should check it out. They take you to an island. They show you Shaquille O'Neal's house and Al Capone. And then they feed you all this fancy food and give you a comedy show. Yeah. We're right in the middle of New York City, folks. We looked at the Oculus. We looked at the memorial for the 9/11. To me, that was very, man, I didn't realize that. Forgot about it. They have this store here called Century 21. You can get some pretty unique clothes from around the world there. A lot of European clothes and so forth. So if you want to come to New York, there's so much to do. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to hop on the subway. When I come back on a little later, I'll be in Times Square. Yes, indeed, folks. I'll be in Times Square. Thank you, brother. Thank you. All right, guys. We're back in the Oculus so I can catch the train. I've taken more trains in the last 5 or 6 weeks coming to this trial than I have my whole life. I typically drive everywhere. But when I get up in the morning at 3 and I come down to the city, it's like an hour or so ride, hour and a half. I see a lot of guys that do this every day, their whole career. They get on that 4:30 train or 5:30 train, whatever. I take my hat off to them because to have to do this my whole career would be devastating to me. Yes, indeed, folks. Let's see if I'm on the right right side, number one. Let's see, Coney Island, downtown Brooklyn. I do not want to go this way. Okay. So, I don't want to take this side. This side will take me downtown Brooklyn. I don't want to go there. I want to go uptown. So you see that's the Oculus, guys? Oculus. All right, we have some. Let's see here. All right. So I have to find the other side. The other side of the game here. All right. So I got to go to the other side. What up, Shaquille? Myron sent you. I'll be on Myron's channel today around 5. You can catch me on Myron's channel today. Fresh and fair, guys. I'll be on there talking about this trial. So, as you saw when I came on the other way, it would take me to Brooklyn. I'm trying to go around. So, folks, I can go upstream toward Times Square. All right. So you get a lot of exercise around here. A lot of exercise, folks. You can get your shoes shined. Am I going to Central Park? No, not today. I hadn't planned on it. That would be a good venture. That came up in the court case. So I'll definitely add that to the list. Central Park, folks. Uptown, there we go. We want to go uptown, folks. You see the sign says Uptown and the Bronx. By the end of this video, you guys will be experts on traveling through the city. You'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it. Okay, folks. They call this the turnstile. All right. Uptown and the Bronx. Uptown and the Bronx. These are some short steps here. All right. Uptown. So there we go, uptown, folks. We're in Fulton Street and we're heading uptown. Oh, sorry. My. All right, folks, we're heading to Times Square.